Okay, today we're talking about the thyroid UTI connection. So, low thyroid is associated with UTI symptoms, and here's why. Low thyroid alters the amount of albumin, which is the main protein in your blood that is excreted in urine. And for women who are suffering either with chronic UTIs or interstitial cystitis, a common complaint is cloudy urine. And this is urine to the point of being white in color when you're actively like in a flare up or actively dealing with symptoms. Excess protein in the urine, including excess albumin, causes cloudy, even nearly white or white pee. So, why on earth would you be dealing with low thyroid? Well, there's a very interconnected relationship between thyroid and estrogen. So, the thyroid gland is a butterfly shaped gland in your lower neck that makes a whole bunch of different hormones. Like we typically just talk about T3 and T4. The thyroid actually makes five different hormones. T3, we're going to focus the conversation today just on T3 and T4. So these two hormones circulate in your bloodstream and they're either bound to a protein called thyroxine binding globulin. The acronym for that is TBG. But the thing about thyroxine binding globulin, even though it's got that weird sounding name, that thyroxine, it binds to both T3 and T4. So an easier way to think about it is thyroid binding globulin. So while free T3 and free T4 are typically considered a better measure of thyroid function, these are the thyroid hormones that are unbound by TBG. The total T3 and the total T4 are also really important because the total T3 and total T4 represent the amount of both unbound, which is free, and bound thyroid hormone, either T3 or T4, that is circulating in your bloodstream. Now, this is where I have a theory that I'm going to share with you now, and that is that TBG, this thyroid binding globulin, actually acts as a buffer within your system. Because what is really important is the amount of thyroid hormone that's getting out of your bloodstream and into your cells. At the same time, when you have crazy high levels of free circulating thyroid hormone in the bloodstream, it can do things like cause a adrenaline surge because to uptake that free thyroid hormone, your body needs cortisol to do that. And so a lot of times it can trigger an adrenaline surge because once again, the pituitary is sending the message down to the adrenals to give it some cortisol, and the adrenals are kind of using that as a give us something like get to work message, not necessarily a hey, I really need just cortisol right now. So they're producing everything that the adrenals make. Um, so back over to this TBG and my theory that it is a buffer. So a buffer, what it does is it allows spurts of, it maintains equilibrium. So it allows free T3 and free T4 to equilibrate in the bloodstream between that and what is bound. But this is only when you have sufficient levels of TBG. And when estrogen changes dramatically, and typically when estrogen goes low, then you have reduced TBG levels circulating.